Hello my friends and welcome back to a new video. In this video I'm going to show you how to use Retrofit library to manage the HTTP request with JetpackCompose. As you can see in this example, I have a simple layout because I didn't want to waste the time of the video on designing the layout, but behind the scene I used a lot of different useful matters, and I'm going to explain all of them to you today. For example, state composition, recomposition, how to mix the classical Android system with JetpackCompose, and how to recreate a simple function inside a composable function, and a lot of different more things. I highly encourage you to be with me till the end of this video, and you will be familiar with all of them. Okay, now let's see this application. I have an application about the cat facts as pets at home, and anytime that I'm clicking on the screen I will receive a new fact about the cat, and I'm using Retrofit to get this facts. Okay, let's jump in. Here I have a new project, and I just added this line of sentence here, which is the URL of the website that we want to use. From here to here will be the base URL, and from here to here will be the endpoint. If you copy and paste it in a browser, even you will see the facts. Let's check it. Okay, here we have the fact about the cats, and I'm refreshing it, and anytime I'm getting a new fact, as you can see. Okay, here I have a variable called fact, and here is the fact till here, and after this comma I have another variable which is length, and this number represents the length of this fact. We don't want to use this one, but we will use the fact in our application. Let's go back to the Android Studio. Let's start with deleting the extra stuff here, and let's go to the Gradle. I'm going to add dependencies here about the Retrofit library. Let me copy them and pasting them here. Okay, after pasting the dependencies, press the sync. Don't worry, I will put these dependencies in the description of the video as well. Okay, it's done. We don't need anything extra here in the Gradle. I don't know if you watched the playlist about the Retrofit that I have built with classical Android system or not, but I will put the link of it here and in the description below if you want to go and check it. If you don't know anything about the Retrofit, here I will explain whatever you need to manage HTTP requests, annotation, get. For those who haven't watched that playlist, I'm going to explain everything. I have a 7-step approach for the HTTP request, and I'm going to do them one by one. First of all, we need to create here a new package, and inside of this new package I'm going to create data classes. I'm going to call this package models. Inside it I need new, and here I have a plugin that I'm using it to create data classes out of JSON files. If you don't have it, you can go to this file, to setting, to plugins, and here search for JSON to Kotlin. The first one, you will see a block like this, a button like this. Click on it and it will be installed. Then you can use it. To create this data class, I need the response. So let's copy and paste it from the browser. Okay, here is the sample of the response. I'm going to copy it. Let's go back to Android Studio. Right click on the models, new, and here. Format. And I need a name for the class. Cat fact. And that's it. Generate. Here I have this data class. I have two variables here, fact and length. In the classical Android system, we were using it like that, but here I prefer to give a random, a default value for them. This is integer, I'm going to give 0, and this is a string, I'm going to give empty string. You can see it better now. Okay, I need another package here, calling it utils. And inside of this util, I need two objects. One to store the base URL address. I'm going to call it util. Here I need a constant variable calling it base, and it's equal to this. Copy, and inside of the quotation I'm going to paste it, but without this endpoint, just till here, till ninja. Okay, I need another object here. I'm going to call it retrofit instance. Okay, and inside of this retrofit, I'm going to create a value calling it API out of an interface that we will create it right now. The name of this interface is API interface. Let's create this interface and come back here. Here, I need another package and I'm going to call it data. And inside of this data, new Kotlin file class, and it's an interface. I need this API interface. Okay, later we will come back to this interface, but let's go to the instance and finish whatever we had. Okay, I have imported this interface here, then by lazy. This by lazy means that for now we will not initialize this variable, but later we will do it. Now retrofit dot builder dot base URL, and I'm going to give the address of our base URL. It was in the util dot base. Then dot add converter factory, and as the converter factory I'm going to use JSON converter factory, then dot create. In the next line we will build it, and in the next line we will create it. And finally I'm going to pass the interface again here. class.java, and that's whatever we need in the Retrofit instance. And let's go to the API interface. Here we have to manage the HTTP request, so we need a function here with annotation get, and this function is a suspend function. Get random fact, and we have a response here. The response will go to this data class, so we have to pass a data class here, cat facts, and that's it. Here we need to pass the endpoint to complete the address. The endpoint was here from the slash till the end. Let's go to the interface, and here inside the quotation mark I will pass this fact, and you can see it clearly. Now we are done in the extra let's say packages and classes. We have to create the response, to call the response here inside of this main activity. I will do it 2 times, let's say, to show you how to do it when you need to manage a request single time when you're opening the application, and it can be here by using LaunchedEffect. And the next time I'm going to create it inside a normal function to show you how to refresh it by clicking. Okay, so let's start here from having a value for the response. I need a value, calling it maybe fact by remember mutable state of, and I'm going to pass this data class here, cat facts. Let's import whatever we need here. I need a parenthesis here, and now everything is okay. Okay, in the next line I need another value, calling it a scope equals to remember coroutine scope, and I'm going to use this simple part of coroutines. Okay, let's start with this scope. So a scope dot launch, and here dispatchers dot io, and I'm going to connect this thread to the thread that is connected to the data. As you can see here, I have an error. It says calls to launch should happen inside the LaunchedEffect. Okay, in the classical Android system we were using like this coroutines inside this set content, but even if I do it there, when we are using the composables, this block is inside the surface, so it's a composable, and here as well we have to use the LaunchedEffect. whatever we had in the classical Android system in the set content after creating the view was executing, and the result was displaying inside the view. But in the JetpackCompose we don't have such thing. If you want to have it like that, you have to use LaunchedEffect. So here I'm going to use LaunchedEffect, and here I need a key, and I don't use this block. I'm going to pass through, opening a bracket, and here closing this bracket. And now our scope is inside the LaunchedEffect. Now we can create the HTTP request. I need a val calling it response equals to try and 2 catches. Okay, the HTTP request will be done here, and here we will have to catch once if we have any problem inside our application, and the second one for problems inside the HTTP request. Let's say here HTTP exception, and for the second one IO exception, this one here. Okay, for both of them I'm going to manage a toast. Okay, here we need the context to pass, and let's paste it here as well. So for the context here I'm going to create another value equals to local context dot current, and I'm going to pass this context here. And as the text body of this toast, I'm going to write for the first one HTTP error, then here a $, and dot message. The second one here. Let's copy this. Here you can write IO error or app error, and you can have log instead of this, no matter. Okay, so here in the catch blocks we are done, but for the response I'm going to call this retrofit instance and dot API dot get random fact, which was this suspend function. Now we are calling it. Okay, and later after this catches I'm going to check if the response dot is here I need to return and launch, return and launch. That now it works, it's successful, and response dot body is not equal to null. Okay, that means we have a data inside the body of the response. Then in the body of this if, I'm going to call with context and dispatchers dot main. Simply I'm going to connect anything is inside this block to the main thread of the application to show it in the view. And finally fact dot fact is equal to response dot body and null check. We should change it to variable. Okay. Now everything is done here. Okay, we need to create the layout. We need a composable function calling it my UI. Here inside this surface, after all of these curly braces here, I'm going to call this my UI, and I will pass the fact equals to fact inside it. And here we have it now. We can use it inside of this block. So here we need a column, maybe a modifier, dot fill max size, and a padding of 16.dp. Okay, in the next line, vertical arrangement center, and here two texts. The first text for the cat facts, and I need a font size of maybe 26.sp. Okay, here I have imported the sp, and here between these two, a modifier dot padding, and bottom maybe 25.dp. Okay, and the next text I'm going to use this fact, so fact dot fact. The first fact is this class, and the second fact is this variable, the fact. Okay, so here again I need to change the font size to 26.sp, font weight bold, and line height like 40 sp. Okay, let's check it on the emulator. Something went wrong. Let me check. Permission denied, missing internet permission. Okay, we should go to the manifest, and here users permission, internet permission, and I think this time it will work. Okay, we have the cat fact, and here is the cat fact. Okay, but when I'm clicking, nothing happened, and anytime that I'm reloading the application, we will have a new fact here, as you can see. Okay, so what we should do to have this refresh? Yeah, let's do it now. I don't need this manifest, and here we have to do a lot of changes here to access that. And as I said, we will use the recomposition, and we will see how we can use the state, but in another way, not just like this. In the previous videos we were just using the state like that. So I'm going to comment whatever I have here, because we will not use them anymore, and any part of it that I need, I will copy from here. Yeah, then you will be able to see them inside my GitHub page. Yeah, okay, so here first of all we need a value here, a var for the fact, and it's equal to mutable state of cat fact. So this is the difference between this variable and this variable. Yeah, okay, now inside of this surface, the surface is occupying the whole screen. Yeah, so we want to manage the on click on the surface. After this, I'm going to manage clickable. So whenever we are clicking on a surface, we want to receive a new fact. I'm going to create a new function here, calling it send request, and this time this function is a normal function inside of the class activity, not outside. Okay, and here as well I have to call it. So once we are opening the application, this function should be executed. Then after any time we are clicking, again it should be executed. So inside of this function we have to manage the HTTP request, but we cannot use the scope and the launched effect. So here I'm going to write global scope dot launch, and here dispatchers.io. So I'm going to use this global scope instead of the coroutine scope that we used in the, let's say, pure JetpackCompose. And then the other stuff till here, I think, yeah, are the same. Okay, the context will not be like that because we don't have the value context now, so I'm going to use application context. Okay, and this fact we have to use the fact dot value, yeah, instead of this. And here we have to change the parameter from the normal class to mutable state of the class cat fact. And here as well we need a value between these two facts. So this fact, the variable fact, comes from the value of this data class. Yeah. So let's check it on the emulator. Okay, here it is the fact, and anytime I'm clicking on the screen, you can see we have a new fact. That was everything about having HTTP request using retrofit get annotation. And if you are satisfied of this video, please give me a thumbs up to help this video be watched by more people. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do it right now and hit the bell button to be aware about the new videos. And if you have any comment, any question, any suggestion, write them down below in the comment box and I will be so happy to read and answer them. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye bye.